And hello, everyone. Welcome to Ask the Expert. We are a group of people on Facebook called the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground. And I have all top quality people that come on this show because they have something important to say to you to help you with your business, or sometimes just to help you move your life along. But if you are an author or speaker and you would like to participate with many, many others, this is the place to do it. So let's talk about what we are going to talk about today, because we're going to talk about how to work with people that can open doors for you to shift your business. I don't know if you've noticed, but we can't do this on our own. We can't open our own doors as hard as we try. We think that if we just show up at the right place at the right time, a door will open. And sometimes it will, but not very often. So what we're going to talk about today is how to find those door openers so that they can make a difference in our lives and our business. I'll be right back. See you shortly. And welcome back. This is a really fun topic that we have today because a door opener makes all the difference in your business. And I've had so many that stepped in at different times, and it's happening more and more and more. Let me introduce you to this person. Let me introduce you to that person. Oh, you might like to be on this person's show. Let me introduce you to that person so you can be on their show. And then vast amounts of people hear me on their show as a result of them opening a door. Now, the guest that we have today, she's been coaching entrepreneurs to create an impact in their business by connecting them with door openers for the last 4 years. And she's the founder of Networking Coach, Speaker, Business Connector, and wow, that's a name, and Matchmaker of Connecting YOU. So this woman is just an amazing person. She has such great energy and she delivers her messages so clearly. And she's been in the business for 25 years of combining experience in recruiting and helping business owners build collaborative partnerships. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Collaborative partnerships. And she knows people internationally. So you could meet people from all over the world through this one wonderful woman who thinks with her heart. And that's what I really love about her, because she fits perfectly into our community of others who also think with their heart. Let's welcome Rosa to the scene. Hi, Rosa. So great to see you. I'm so excited you're here.
Hi, Dr. Charlene. I am so happy to be here with you, especially knowing what you do with heart-based people. So I'm really excited to be part of this. Thank you.
This is really fun because it is all about heart-based, heart-centered, caring people who want to support each other. So what I'd like you to do, I did my best to describe what it is you do, but I know you can do it so much better. So tell me and the audience exactly what you would like them to know about what it is that you do to open doors for them.
Thank you, Dr. Charlene. I'd be happy to. So about 4 years ago, I decided to go off on my own because I had been doing this networking, connecting, matchmaking for over 25 years, as Dr. Charlene has said. And one day when I was looking at businesses network together, booking a coffee meeting, but not really connecting with each other. And I was amazed and a little bit taken aback. And I thought, oh my, what an opportunity being wasted.
Yeah,
let me grab a group together and start talking about what is this networking thing we're talking about? Is it really just shifting around business cards and having a huge database, or is it making connections? And as I explore, just go and teach networking skills. I had to go beyond networking right away. And so I saw that a lot of people were uncomfortable truly making that connection. And, you know, it's interesting because I was listening to somebody else's podcast this morning, and we talked about what makes a connection. And you know what it is, Dr. Charlene? It is that comfort level inside with oneself. So if you are truly connected with yourself, now you can be comfortable connecting with that other person. But I didn't know how to articulate the why. I didn't know why people were inhibited or shy or whatever reasons they gave as to reasons why they were not making the connection. So I decided to have groups get together and do some more research while I was teaching connectivity skills. And this is what I found out. I found out that a lot of us did not understand the heart-to-heart and spirit connection. We were all still living in our heads about what we were taught about how to pitch my business, how to sound eloquent and almost perfect in a pitch so that you can decide which one of my programs you can buy and I can get you as a client. Well, they've all realized it hasn't worked, has it?
No, and they probably have a lot of business cards on their desk too.
Oh my gosh. And I didn't know better. I did the same thing. I was so happy bringing home boxes of business. I gotta talk to these people. And if you don't make that connection in the first moment, it's going to be very challenging having them remember you when you make that phone call later to make the connection. So now I actually not only connect them, but I match business owners together because I have taken the time to understand you so well that I know the synergies that you would have with another business person. And I would also know the gaps that each of you have, so I can identify how Darlene can help Sylvan. And I can tell you on the spot, this is where you connect, and this is where the gaps are that you can complement each other and expand your business. It's
when
that
you say
simple.
Gaps, define what you mean by gaps.
Okay, wonderful. Let's say I have a graphic designer. He's brilliant at designing, but he is not that great at the details of managing the business and managing a staff and managing a workload. Give him the creative side, but now he's trying to do it all in his business. So when I found out that he was really hurting with managing his time, what I went ahead and did was find a business owner that is really structured and successful and can mentor him and give him a helping hand as to how to delegate, how to understand the simplicity of delegation and managing, so he can open up more time to be creative and design beautiful websites.
Okay. And so that's his gap.
That's his gap. The lack of structure, the lack of operation setup, and because it was pulling his business behind. And and he couldn't keep up with all these referrals, you know.
How terrible that is.
I
know. Terrible that he couldn't keep up. That's just awful.
A nice problem to have, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Yes. And this other person was so structured that she couldn't find time during the day to be creative because she was always with the to-do list and how do I do this and I can do this and it's like, wait a minute, there is no creative thinking where she connected the heart to her head and put aside, let's say, an hour a day to really imagine and create her business in a way that she can pass on to the person that was about to help her. She couldn't. You see? So she needed that influence. And I could hardly wait to see what they do together from here on, because they were just matched.
So the thing is that they need to be prepared to have that person come into their life as a part of their team, right?
It's true, because let's say the website guy didn't have the funds to pay somebody to come in and help him do the detailed work and the structure and all of that. He would be up the creek without a paddle, wouldn't he? But I already worked with him, and I already knew that he had acquired the funds to hire that person.
I see. Okay.
Right? So that's where information gathering is critical.
So you do like research on each person before you ever match them, correct?
Absolutely. And you know what? There's probably about 70% of them that I've already worked with as a client. So with those that I haven't worked, I would have to do research. But those I've worked with, I know a lot about them and how they can be served.
So talk to us about one of your most successful experiences matching two people.
Okay. Let's talk about the woman who is a holistic, I want to call her a medicine woman, but she isn't. She's a doctor. She's a diabetes specialist. And I connected her with somebody who actually is much more creative than her, who, let's see, she teaches something called deconstructing patterns.
Oh.
Yes. And she is really creative, and she also does a lot of speaking engagements. And the other woman, who is a holistic / wellness coach, who's a diabetes specialist, does also a lot of speaking engagements. But their fields of expertise are totally different. And when they started getting to know each other, they realized how important it was for them to understand what each other does, because they could truly refer clients. Imagine if you can learn how to deconstruct your patterns, and the woman who's that person, if her client can go over to the other lady's clientele base, then the way she understands information is different to how she would have without deconstructing patterns. So it brings a more holistic start taking courses from these two people. So that's one thing, they can help each other. They can refer back and forth, because people who are having health issues and are not taking care of their health really need to understand the patterns that are running them, because they have at one point to realize that this is not external. It's not just a physical health problem, any physical ailment we have, right?
Yes.
So having worked with, let's call one June and let's call one Janet. I don't want to give their real names. So let's say June is the deconstructing coach, and Janet is the health coach. Now, when their clients start merging their teachings together, they become so much more interesting and fulfilled as a person to get that job done, to get the coaching work for them. So that's one way. It's referring clients. They were able to refer clients together. And also the fact that they both wanted to speak and were already speaking on international stages, they were able to share information on the stages that they were speaking, so that they can now introduce them to the speaking stages that each other was speaking on. Both of their platforms got extended.
Okay. Because they were working together.
Yep, exactly. It was easy for them to say, for one person to say, well, listen, I know this person in the States, and they can do a summit together, and you can actually go and speak as a summit leader. And June had never thought of that before. She was so busy doing stuff in the GTA. right? So it was interesting. And the platforms that June was speaking on here, Janet had never spoken on. So she says, why don't you come over here? And of course, I knew both platforms because I was working with these two women as clients. And I was able to intervene as well and help Janet move over to this other platform. And I got her on stage just in June this year to be able to be a speaker on another health and wellness stage.
Okay. Wow. That's fabulous. So how often, how do you prepare being able to be matched like that?
Dr. Shirlene, it takes quite a while because let's say I have 12 people in the group. Now we will have 6 matches, but those 12 people look, I can bring 30 people in the group, but the truth is none of those 30 people could be a match. What is more important is that I find 12 people that are almost perfectly matched to bring them together. So you can imagine the time it takes to interview people, to check back in with the client that I've worked with a year ago, to see where she's at now or he's at. So to ensure that he is ready to work with that other person, what I would do is send them a pre-questionnaire each. Have an interview session with each of the candidates, and I would understand a lot more about what their message is, how they've pivoted their business in the last couple of years, where they're going, what's their vision, and then what is the biggest project they want to implement next. So in other words, what's directly coming up in the next 3 months or 6 months, and who do give them options. I'd give them a list of which one of these. They choose that. Then the other person fills out that very information. And I have a deep dive discussion with both of them. Then I can go into my list that I have prepared or go back to my database, my pool of gold, and then select somebody that is really appropriate for that person.
So, okay. So I understand how you have to prepare. But how does one of your clients prepare? Can anybody just pay you or to do this? Or do people have to be in business for a couple of years? Or how do they prepare for this?
Okay. Well, no, actually, they must be in business for at least 2 years. Somebody under 2 years, it would be difficult for them to really define who they're looking for. They're still hurting, getting bruises in the trenches, right?
Yeah.
And I remember my first 2 years. So they must be in business for 2 years or more. And they would have now had a sense of what didn't work, what's not working, what's working, and paid out some money for coaches that didn't work too, as some of us did.
Yes.
Right. So usually by the process of elimination is how we figure out what we want in life anyway. So that's all par for the course. But once they've been in business for those 2 years and they've figured out what they're looking for, then we could have a real heart-to-heart conversation. And then they can now start working with me in depth. We would have several sessions together before I can understand what they're looking for. Okay.
So wouldn't it be wise of them to know what their next step is? Because if they don't know what their next step is, they may not get the right connection for where they want to go next. Because I see so many people that are jumping over so many of the needs in order to get to something way beyond what they are capable, and they just don't even have the ability to make use of that kind of thing yet.
It's so true. And that's why I say they would have to, because once their 90-day plan is, or what their next year's plan is, so they would have a better understanding. So by the time they come with me and we have about 3 sessions identifying and clarifying that, it makes it much easier for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you steer them at all, or do they just kind of know?
I do have to steer them. I would say 10 to 50% of them, I would have to direct them a bit, because they would, the shiny object syndrome is one of the biggest diseases us entrepreneurs have.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's so much available to us right now. And I mean, I remember going through that. And that was almost like in my second to third year, because it's like, oh, now you know what you want, and you know what's trending, and you know what you should have, but you haven't really figured out how it fits into your plan.
Yes.
So sometimes by the time they come to me, they are still suffering that shiny object syndrome.
Yes.
It's a disease, I tell you.
I get that a lot too. And I have to go, no, we're going to just focus right on this. And we're not going to move forward until we get this done, because this is a part of the foundation. And I think that's the biggest thing that they miss, is they are chasing those shiny objects, but they have no foundation yet. And as a result, they can't really determine where they want to go next, because they don't have anything to stand on.
Exactly. And I honestly, I can relate to that, because I went through that myself. And so, and you know what? The benefit of that is then it means I can relate to them.
Yes.
So they feel absolutely no judgment, and they feel included and part of something that they belong to. And I go, we'll become friends.
Yeah.
Because now we speak the same language. I go, oh, it wasn't long ago. I remember that.
That's just part of the learning, isn't it? I mean,
it is.
They pay for these inexpensive group coaching calls that get them nowhere. It gives them an idea, but they don't get anything done. And then they go chase the next shining object, and they try that, and oh, that doesn't work. And then they go over here and do this one, and oh, that doesn't work. So if they're trying to if they don't have a foundation, is what you're saying, Rosa, then they're not ready for you, correct?
No, they're not. No, they must have that foundation. And this is why I like also working with people like yourself, because I know that's part of what you do, is setting up that foundation. Mm-hmm. And honestly, Dr. Charlene, it is so vital. It's like oxygen for a business.
Yes.
I could almost feel the pain that I went through over and over again, because, it wasn't that long ago that I was going from, I had 3 coaches at the same time. God, good heavens,
That's too many coaches at the same time.
Every penny I made was going back to the coaches, not to my business.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And so I feel for them, and I feel I have an obligation to enlighten them, so to speak, and share my experiences so that they can understand why that doesn't work, and why it's important to focus on one thing at a time until it becomes juicy, saucy, and ripe for the reaping.
Exactly.
Right?
I love it. So Rosa, tell people what you're doing and how to connect with you. I'm going to put your email up here. But how do you want them to connect with you? What's a good thing, just to send you an email, or talk to me about that?
Well, actually, I love emails. I do. I mean, I'm on the laptop all day long anyway, so it's so easy for me to see an email come in and relate to it. So I prefer emails, rosa@connectingyou.ca. My website is also just as easy, connectingyou.ca. But I'm also on LinkedIn, because I know everybody has preferences of how they like to connect, and I really like to accommodate people. So LinkedIn, I absolutely love. I go in there at least a couple times a day, and so you can just find me under my name at Rosa Lokaisingh, Lokaisingh, and I am on Facebook, so you could always reach me on Messenger on Facebook, and it's at Rosa Lokaisingh or at Connecting You. So
Perfect. All right, Rosa. Well, I just want to thank you so much for being with us today. And I'm very excited about what you're doing and how well you're doing. It's just phenomenal that you can open these doors for people like you do. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you from my heart for doing that to help others.
Thank you so much. I
You're
love doing it.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I hope you learned something. One of the things that you might have learned is that it's very important to have a foundation, and that it takes about 2 years before you really figure out who you are and how you want to move forward. But if you want to work with Rosa, then you definitely need to have a foundation under you so that she can connect you to the very best person possible, and some idea of where you want to go next. What is it you want to do? Do you want to be on more podcasts? Do you want to make your program more robust? What is it you want to do? Maybe even webinars. There's so many different things that entrepreneurs can do with their business, but it's important that we aren't, as Rosa said, just chasing the next shiny object in hopes that it's the right one, because I promise you, if you haven't thought about it and you're not sure about where you want to go next, you don't want to chase those shiny objects, because it's going to be a waste of money and time. So whatever it is that you are doing at this point, finish it. Make it into something. Make it be something that people really want. And then you can take that next step and connect with Rosa and have doors for you. Wouldn't that be phenomenal? Well, everyone, I just want to say thank you so much for being with me today. And don't forget to join the Authors and Speakers Visibility Playground. I know you're going to love it. And we have a challenge coming up, and we have a referral group that meets for free. It's a business mastermind referral group. And we would love to have you as a part of it. So if you get a chance, click the like button and also do the bell so that you hear about when we are having the next video. And I just want to say again, thank you for being with us. I will see you next week.